Okay, let's take a look at the difference between behaviorism and cognitivism. These are two paradigms that come to us from the discipline of psychology. The big idea for behaviorism, I know, has a lot to do with stimulus and response. But let's see, we have in blue, the big idea has something to do with someone throwing on the pottery wheel. And that reminds me of something being shaped. And I know that for behaviorism, the environment shapes learning. And for cognitivism, here is a picture of the brain with a computer inside of it. And we know that the big idea for cognitivism is that the brain is like a computer. All right, so what happens inside the brain from the perspective of someone who operates within these paradigms? We know that for behaviorism, here's a picture of the Newton's cradle and then a dog being trained. So let's see. I think this one would be that behavior is formed by action and reaction. The action and reaction goes along with the Newton's cradle, and again, behavior being sort of formed here, thinking about training a dog. Not that we're saying students are dogs. It is the most traditional of the paradigms, though. All right, for cognitivism, inside the brain, we know that students, what happens is that we attend, we encode, and we retrieve. So these are the three things that happen within the brain. Attending, which is part of the sensory register. Encoding, which happens in short-term memory. And once things are transferred to long-term memory, you can then retrieve them from long-term memory. All right, role of the teacher. I know that for behaviorism, it has a lot to do with drill, reward, and repeat. So if you've heard of any programs that are like more repetition and direct instruction, especially in reading, these are they hail from the behaviorist tradition. The role of the teacher in cognitivism, the teacher needs to do several things, and I have a little picture of, this is probably the most complicated one, a picture of a mole, and then inside the mole there is a little dory. There is, and I know you probably can't see that very well, but it is little shapes, fish shapes that are they're unorganized on the bottom, and then they are very, very organized on the top picture. There is some chain, and then there is this picture of computer code, binary code. So the teacher needs to MOLE. First one's memory, recognize the limits of memory. Help organize information, like the little pictures of the fish down here. Help students link information, which goes along with the piece of chain here. And then teaching and coding strategies is the picture of the binary code here. Then the last one, the role of the student. The role of the student for behaviorism, really not much at all, but to just sort of react. Again, this is the most traditional paradigm from psychology, and they, back then, thought of the mind as a black box. For cognitivism, the expectation is that the student is going to be a lot more active, especially in the area of asking questions. So this is a student inside the other student's brain sort of raising the hand to ask a question.